House come to order. Members, proceed to your seats. Will the members please rise to the invocation delivered by Reverend Jerry Morton DeWitt, retired Lutheran pastor of Frankfort, Kentucky, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Loving triune God, we give you thanks for your many and abundant blessings, for life itself, for sustenance, and the ability to fulfill this important calling in this place. Thank you for this work and for the honor of bearing this responsibility appropriately. Thank you for the freedom to embrace you and your boundless nature and grace. Help all of us through these responsibilities to promote peace and order and justice. Give us clarity in what is truth and the ramifications if we do not follow it. Most importantly, give us strength to continue in that truth. Help us to value and always ask you for ample understanding when it comes to the welfare and true needs of our people, so that we may continue to fulfill what is good and fitting for our beloved Commonwealth of Kentucky. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk will sound the chimes. Members indicate your presence. Clerk will take the roll. Being 97 members indicating their presence, a quorum is declared and the House is ready to proceed. Next order of business, the excuse of absent members. Gentleman from Taylor.
Mr. Speaker, I move you, sir, that the absent members be excused in accordance with the House rules.
Without objection, so ordered. Gentleman from Taylor.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules for the purpose of allowing members to co-sponsor bills and resolutions or to submit vote modifications and have filed the proper papers with the clerk to do so.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order of business, the approval of the journal. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, the Clerk of the Senate.
Chair recognizes the Clerk of the Senate. Good afternoon, Madam Clerk.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. The Senate has passed House Bills 500, 503, 504, and 900, all with letter, and respectfully request concurrence of this honorable body.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, for the less than
Thank you,
satisfactory
sir.
delivery. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the journal from Wednesday, March 18, 2026 be approved.
Without objection, so ordered. The journal from Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 is approved. Next order of business is the second reading of bills. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 789 with House Committee Substitute 1, Representative Duval, an act relating to advanced mathematic coursework. House Concurrent Resolution 107, Representative Cook, a concurrent resolution establishing the Charitable Gaming Modernization Task Force to study, review, and report on updates to Kentucky's charitable gaming statutes and administrative regulations. Senate Bill 4 with House Committee Substitute 1 and House Committee Amendment 1, the title amendment, Senator West, an act relating to school leadership. Senate Bill 17, Senator Storm, an act relating to the protection of children. Senate Bill 46 with House Committee Substitute 1 and House Floor Amendment 1, Senator Deneen, an act relating to school transportation and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 65, Senator West, an act relating to deficient administrative regulations and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 73 with House Committee Substitute 1, House Committee Amendment 1, the title amendment, and House Floor Amendment 1, Senator Howell, an act relating to tallow-based cosmetic products. Senate Bill 101 with House Committee Substitute 1 and House Floor Amendments 1 and 2, Senator Nunn, an act relating to children. Senate Bill 155 with House Committee Substitute 1 and House Committee Amendment 1, the title amendment, Senator Carpenter, an act relating to animal health emergencies. Senate Bill 157, Senator Howell, an act relating to total net income limits on loans secured by a mortgage. Senate Bill 198, Senator Meredith, an act relating to operations in the Office of the Attorney General. And Senate Bill 219 with House Committee Substitute 1 and House Committee Amendment 1, the title amendment, Senator Howell, an act relating to deferred deposit transaction fees imposed by the Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The next order of business, report of committees. Please report.
The Economic Development and Workforce Investment Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 129 should pass, an act relating to unemployment insurance. Senate Bill 343 should pass, an act relating to the Department of Workers' Claims and declaring an emergency. House Bill 732 should pass to rules, an act relating to worker benefits. The Families and Children Committee has met and reported Senate Bill 122 should pass, an act relating to alternative sentences. Senate Joint Resolution 54 should pass, a joint resolution directing the Department for Libraries and Archives and the Cabinet for Health and Family Services to cooperate in exploring ways to increase enrollment in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library program. The Health Services Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 56 should pass, an act relating to utilization controls of non-opioid analgesics in the medical program. Senate Bill 116 should pass, an act relating to physician assistants. Senate Bill 137 should pass, an act relating to a provisional license to practice medicine. Senate Bill 147 should pass, an act relating to vital records. The Natural Resources and Energy Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 8 with House Committee Substitute 1 should pass, an act relating to public utilities and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 49 should pass with House Committee Amendment 1, an act relating to battery stewardship. Senate Bill 100 should pass with House Committee Substitute 1 an act relating to the Energy Planning and Inventory Commission and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 222 should pass, an act relating to environmental covenants and declaring an emergency. The State Government Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 29 should pass with House Committee Substitute 1, an act relating to solid waste management facilities. Senate Bill 70 should pass, an act relating to the Public Pension Oversight Board. Senate Bill 85 should pass, an act relating to designating a special needs trust to receive state-administered retirement benefits. Senate Bill 226 should pass, an act relating to pre-need burial contracts. And the Tourism and Outdoor Recreation Committee has met and reports Senate Bill 19 should pass, an act relating to mushrooms.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All those bills and resolutions receiving favorable committee reports shall be considered as having their first reading and ordered placed on the calendar. House Bill 732, having received a previous reading, shall be considered as having its second reading and is ordered in the possession of the Rules Committee for further action. Next order of business, the orders of the day. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from 33 for an announcement.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Jefferson 33.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to communicate with the body.
Yes, sir.
I would like to speak with the Impeachment Committee and say that upon recess, we will be going to room 131 in the annex for a very quick meeting to approve publication of the majority and the minority reports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members take note. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, we recess to the call of the chair.
Without objection, the House shall stand in recess to the call of the chair. House come to order. We are in the orders of the day. Lady from Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that House Bill 500, House Bill 503, House Bill 504 be taken from the Committee on Rules and placed in the orders of the day for concurrence or non-concurrence.
Without objection, so ordered. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 500 with Senate amendments be taken from the orders of the day for concurrence or non-concurrence.
Without objection. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 500, an act relating to appropriations measures providing funding and establishing conditions for the operations, maintenance, support, and functioning of the government of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and its various officers, cabinets, departments, boards, commissions, institutions, subdivisions, agencies, and other state-supported activities. Representative Petrie.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House does not concur in the Senate committee substitute to House Bill 5.
The motion is that the House does not concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill 500. Those in favor of not concurring say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Nay. Madam Clerk, please communicate with the Clerk of the Senate to ask the Senate to withdraw from their dastardly amendments. Lady from Davis.
Round 2. Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 503 with Senate amendments be taken from the orders of the day for concurrence and non-concurrence. Mr. Speaker, please have the clerk report Senate committee substitute to House Bill 503.
Clerk, please report.
House Bill 503, an act making appropriations for the operations, maintenance, and support of the legislative branch of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Representative Petrie.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House does not concur in the Senate committee substitute to House Bill 503.
Motion is that the House does not concur with the Senate committee substitute to House Bill 503. Those in favor of not concurring signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House does not concur. Madam Clerk, please communicate with the Clerk of the Senate requesting that the Senate recede from its amendments to House Bill 503. Lady from Davis.
Third time's a charm. Mr. Speaker, I move House Bill 504 with Senate amendments be taken from the orders of the day for concurrence or non-concurrence. Mr. Speaker, please have the clerk report the Senate committee substitute to House Bill 504.
Clerk, please report.
House Bill 504, an act making appropriations for the operations, maintenance, support, and functioning of the judicial branch of the government of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and its various officers, boards, commissions, subdivisions, and other state-supported activities. Representative Petrie.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House does not concur in the Senate committee substitute to House Bill 504.
Motion is that the House does not concur with the Senate committee substitute to House Bill 504. Those in favor of not concurring signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House does not concur. Madam Clerk, please communicate with the Clerk of the Senate requesting that the Senate recede from its amendments to House Bill 504. In the unlikely event that the Senate refuses to recede from their amendments, the following members are appointed to a conference committee and subsequently a free conference committee to House Bills 500, 503, and 504. Gentleman from Todd, Chair. Gentleman from Rockcastle, gentleman from Bell, gentleman from McCracken 1, lady from Davis, gentleman from Jefferson 33, gentleman from Lincoln, gentleman from Oldham, lady from Jefferson 43, lady from Fayette 75, gentleman from Jefferson 42, or alternately the lady from Jefferson 32. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 904 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only and placed upon its passage.
Motion is made and seconded that House Bill 904 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only and placed upon its passage. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 904, an act relating to gaming. Representative Meredith.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Edmondson 19 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Edmondson for explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House. House Bill 904 is a comprehensive measure dealing with most of, if not all of the areas regulated by the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation. Ask that the clerk please report House Committee Substitute 1.
Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 904.
Gentleman from Edmondson.
So the committee substitute is mostly technical issues that were being addressed and still negotiated as we were leading up to the committee meeting after the bill initially being filed. We'll talk about the entirety of the bill in just a few minutes, but most of these are, again, technical issues and negotiations that were still ongoing leading up to that committee meeting after the filing of the initial bill. Happy to answer any questions that members might have specifically about it, but would move for the adoption of the House Committee Substitute.
Motion is for the adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any discussion of the committee substitute? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Edmondson.
Mr. Speaker, also, we filed House Floor Amendment 5 on the floor today. It is substantially similar to House Floor Amendment 4. There were two very minor technical corrections. One related to charitable gaming to make sure that the Catholic church picnics were not affected by some of the language, and an amendment related to horse racing. Again, both very, very technical in nature. I think, have those been uploaded to the screen yet? Let me ask that. I'm being told that those have been uploaded to the screen now. So I would like to ask that we suspend the rules for consideration of House Floor Amendment 5 to House Bill 904, again with those two minor technical corrections.
Motion of the gentleman from Edmondson is for suspension of the rules for the purpose of acting upon House Floor Amendment 5. Motion to suspend the rules is non-debatable, requires a constitutional majority of 51. Those in favor of a suspension of the rules for the purpose of allowing action on House Floor Amendment 5, vote aye. Roll call is open for your vote. Have all members supporting suspension of the rule cast an aye vote? Clerk will take the roll. Means 68 members voting aye. Rules are suspended for the purpose of acting on House Floor Amendment 5. Gentleman from Edmondson.
Speaker, I'd move for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 5.
Question before the body is adoption of House Floor Amendment 5. Is there any discussion of the floor amendment? Gentleman from Edmondson, we need to report that.
Ask the clerk please report House Floor Amendment 5.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 5 to House Bill 904.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 5. Is there any discussion on the floor amendment? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 5 is adopted. Gentleman from Edmondson.
So again, what you have before you today, ladies and gentlemen of the House, is a comprehensive measure dealing with everyone regulated by the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation. The bill makes several major changes. As you all know, I sponsored sports wagering in Kentucky a few years ago. One of those big changes is that we would move the age of sports wagering from 18 to 21. Also would ban certain prop betting on in-state collegiate athletes. So collegiate athletes that play for Kentucky teams, you could not have a negative prop bet on those. So you couldn't bet the under, taking away any incentive for bribery or harassing a player for not meeting that goal. Those are the sports wagering changes. It does create a licensing, regulatory, and tax structure around fantasy sports contest. Fantasy sports have operated in Kentucky for a very long time. This bill just puts a license on them, regulates them, and creates a tax around them. That has been agreed to by all of the parties involved in those negotiations. The bill also addresses the issue of prediction markets. And prediction markets are not necessarily new, but some of their practices are very new. So prediction markets have classically been regulated at the Commodity Futures Trading Corporation at the federal level. And there is still some debate about whether states are preempted from regulating those at this time. However, those prediction markets have started moving into the space of betting on ball games, sporting events, and even prop bets on athletics as well. With that, there has been a large-scale discussion at the national level led by states across the country on what is the place for regulation in these markets. Should states be able to regulate those sports-related event contracts? Again, we still don't know the answer to that yet. There are multiple federal court cases going on right now that will likely be consolidated into a federal Supreme Court case. We do not directly regulate these markets under this because we still don't know if we have the clarity to do so. But we do put a tax on those prediction markets and their derivatives and swaps equal to what the sports wagering tax is on online sports wagering. We also say that if you are a licensee under this bill through sports wagering, a horse racing track, or a fantasy sports operator, for the next year, you can't operate a prediction market in Kentucky. After that, you're not allowed to be involved with or in business as a prediction market operator anywhere else in the country if you're licensed under one of our licensee structures here. The bill also would update the tote machine system at our horse tracks to make sure it is more updated due to concerns with computer-assisted wagering, and would ensure that wagering is disabled simultaneously but no later than the moment that a starting gate opens on a horse race. There are also provisions in here that just clarify how fixed odds wagering would be operated in the Commonwealth of Kentucky on horse racing. The other provisions of this bill deal with horse racing or charitable gaming. At this time, I would like to yield to my friend who's worked on this for months with me, the gentleman from Bourbon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Bourbon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, gentlemen from Edmondson. First off, I want to thank all the help that we've had, the assistance we've had. Carabelle's in here right now, Christy, Bryce. They've done some incredible work to get this bill to where it is today. Quickly on with the horse racing, we said no restriction on the number of mares bred to any stallion by any thoroughbred registrar. It also requires a long-term viability and genetic diversity study from all stakeholders within the industry to study this and report back to licensing and occupation by December 1st of this year. On charitable gaming, Chairman already talked about the fixed affairs and festival languages, make sure those can go on as they always have. We've also, the two moratoriums have continued. The first is a moratorium on new licenses for any of the charities, and this was agreed upon language sitting down with all the charities as we work through this. So the moratorium continues for another year. That's going to be important. I'll explain why. And the second part is we also make sure they keep all their games and technologies that the charities currently have in place. Also addresses the amount of money, the winning e-ticket up to $14.99 for the charity. I heard back there's a lot of concerns with the license caps that we've put in place, and I just want to make sure everyone realizes that those are caps, so it doesn't mean that the fee will go directly up to that. Any move by the corporation to increase those still has to go through the regulatory process. So that's just that's a policy that we've been doing with all boards throughout licensing and occupations. So the most important part of this, and there's a House concurrent resolution that moved through L&O yesterday, most important part for all the fans of charitable gaming in here that you need to know is we've created a task force, and that is going to go during the interim where we study all the rules, regulations that go with charitable gaming. With that being said, I yield back to this.
Gentleman from Edmondson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to echo the comments that the gentleman from Bourbon made about staff and their work on this, Bryce Ambergy, Carabelle Priest, Christy Trout on our staff. There's been a lot of red ink used through this process. There have been a lot of colored tabs used as we have marked up these bills, and they've done a tremendous job in pulling all this together in such a comprehensive measure, and just want to recognize them for all their hard work. They make us look good when we have a bill like this on the floor with all their work. At this time, Mr. Speaker, I am happy to answer any questions that members might have, but would move for passage of House Bill 904 as amended by House Committee Substitute 1 and House Floor Amendment 5.
Question before the body is passage of House Bill 904 as amended by House Committee Substitute 1 and House Floor Amendment 5. Is there any discussion? Chair recognizes the gentleman from Whitley for discussion of the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I filed House Floor Amendment 2 to address the issue of sports books limiting bets and bettors. Could you please have the clerk report House Floor Amendment 2?
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 2 to House Bill 904.
Gentleman from Whitley.
Sports books are limiting bets from bettors, but not for the reasons you might think. Not because someone lost too much money, not because of fraud, and actually it's the opposite. If somebody's winning, they're more likely to be limited. This issue's been brought to my attention from other folks. Some of my friends in Whitley County have talked to me about it, and some of them were very excited when we passed sports gambling. And I remember you about couldn't avoid a commercial, and there were many great offers. I saw one book even had $2,000 in bonus bets, which was an incredible offer. I mean, $2,000 free money, that's amazing. Very quickly, I started getting screenshots of what's called limiting, where somebody would try to make a bet and the bet is declined. Say, no, you can't wager $100. You can only wager $55, or no, $50's too much. Here you're allowed to bet $34. In fact, I have had people reach out to me that can't even get down $5 on a bet. And I think when we passed sports gambling, we passed it to allow people to bet, people to win and people to lose, especially for people to win. It's great. Everybody loves winning a sports bet. I got a message from a guy the other day that he had made a total of 6 wagers, and his account was suspended by that sports book. So, and I'm sure you can imagine what's happening to the losing bettors. They may be even given an offer or another bonus or another boost. So one thing I've learned in this job so far is if there's a problem, try to go directly to the source, talk to them. I've talked to some of those in the sports books industries. I got a couple of different answers. First, some of them think it's not happening, or they say, well, it's not even happening. But I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I've seen the screenshots, I've seen the bets attempt to be placed, and they're turned down. Second, they say, well, they like to weed out suspicious activity. And we are in an age of AI, computer algorithms. I understand that. Maybe even a sophisticated sports guru that can find a mismatched line, or for example, if it was supposed to be at plus 150 and instead it got posted at plus 1,500, I understand that. But that's not what we're talking about. Like I said, some of my friends had talked to me about this, and the guy I think of most with this bill, he's just a good old country boy from Whitley County, works for the landscaper, did some landscaping work, and everybody knows I love baseball, so they come to me about baseball players, baseball pitchers. My good friend there in Whitley County, he couldn't even say the names right of the players. So, gentleman from Jefferson 33, I know you're a Red Sox fan, and you know their great pitching ace, Garrett Crochet, that my friend refers to as Garrett Crotchet. And gentleman from Barron, the Braves fan, you know how they had Max Fried, who went to the Yankees, a great pitcher, may win Cy Young this year. And Max Fried is referred to as Max Fried. And one time he actually called me, and I was actually so happy because he told me he was thinking about betting on Jesus, and it made me so happy. And I still witness to him to this day as a religious person. It actually took me a few minutes to realize he was talking about Jesus Luzardo of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Gentlemen, I'm giving you quite a bit of latitude.
That, Mr. Speaker, the point of that is it wasn't an AI bot. It wasn't a computer algorithm and arguably not even a sports guru. It was a guy on a lucky break that got told no. So, Mr. Speaker, House Floor Amendment 2 provides that a book must take a wager. Now, the exceptions are suspicious wagering activity. So the fraud or the problem gaming when someone is losing or going bankrupt. This doesn't include that. But outside of those, the book must accept a bet up to $1,000, depository bet. That's what House Floor Amendment 2 does. It's not about fraud. It's not to protect losers. Bettors are being limited because they are winning. And I move for adoption of House Floor Amendment 2 and call for a roll call vote.
Motions for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 2. Roll call vote having been called for. Gentleman from Edmondson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House. You know, the gentleman from Whitley is my good friend. And so in him being my good friend, I will not say that this amendment is unfriendly. I will also not say that the amendment is friendly either, though. I have concerns with the amendment. We have a sports wagering marketplace in Kentucky that has really not yet matured. It has done fairly well over the last couple of years since we have legalized the marketplace. But there is, to my knowledge, no other state of the 39 states now that have legalized sports wagering that have adopted a provision like what the gentleman from Whitley is bringing before you today. A $1,000 bet, and I'm not saying anybody shouldn't be able to win, but a $1,000 bet in certain situations could lead to a very, very large win for the customer and loss for the book, depending on what the odds are set at. And I think what you'll find is in a marketplace like this with all of the different things that we are currently doing, again, not a very mature marketplace yet. We're moving the age from 18 to 21. That changes the economics of the people that are betting in the system as of today, whether you agree with that or not. It changes the economics for the sports books. We have a huge, huge influx of money being bet in the prediction market space instead of at our licensed sport books right now, because those have been given the green light at the federal level, at least temporarily. And to give you an example, on the Super Bowl, there was 10 times as much money bet at the prediction markets on the Super Bowl as there were bet in licensed sports books across the country. I heard a number, I think the number earlier this week was that Kalshi, one of the prediction markets, was expecting a $3 billion week leading into March Madness of money being put into their system. That's a lot of pressure as money moves away from our traditional, legal, licensed sports books that we have no control over as a state right now. And then the changes with the prop bets. Not a gigantic change there in probably the numbers, but it will have an economic effect on that system as well. And so, again, the gentleman from Whitley is my friend. I hear his concerns. I appreciate that the amendment does have language in there relating to suspicious betting activity, relating to issues like problem gaming that we restrict bettors on and other restrictions that we put out there. Another thing that I left out when we talked about this, we restrict in this bill anyone betting in our online betting system who has child support arrearages of over $1,000 from being able to bet going forward to protect those families. The gentleman from Jefferson brought that language to us, and we put that in the bill. But again, I just have a lot of concerns with making a change like this in the business practices of the licensees who are licensed, who are regulated, in a time when we still don't have a mature marketplace on this, and in a time when we are doing major, major things to change this, and the national market is doing major, major things to change our licensed and regulated industry.
Lady from Jefferson 41, you wish to discuss the amendment? You're recognized to do so.
I just have a question. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just have a quick question on your amendment. Where it says that if the bets are suspicious, they'd be banned. Is there an algorithm that can identify what bet is suspicious and what is not?
Gentleman from Whitley.
These sports books have very yes, they have computers that can catch these, algorithms that can catch these. I saw a study that they can figure out what kind of bettor a person is by the time they place 2 or 3 bets. So if there is suspicious activity, and what I assume they're referring to is especially on the prediction market, I've seen where somebody will just have a bot place bet, and they've made 1,000 bets in one day. So I'm not trying to stop them from preventing that type of behavior. Another example of suspicious activity would be, the fix is in. Somebody's in on it. They know what's going to happen. They place the bet. I'm not trying to stop them from preventing that type of activity. That's why if the book thinks, they have this technology to catch that. If they think it's suspicious, they can limit the bet or ban the account.
Lady from Jefferson.
I have one little question again. Thank
you
you for that answer. And so would then the sports betting platforms then have different rules for each state? And would they be able to upgrade all of their rules to our state?
Gentleman from Whitley.
I imagine they could quite easily. This is really just stopping them from limiting someone, banning someone, just because they've won or just because they're on a lucky streak. And that can easily happen. Just pull away the technologies that calculating the trading, they're saying no, we can only accept $100 on that bet or something.
Lady from Jefferson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, gentlemen.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Campbell 67 for discussion on the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to speak in support of this amendment. This issue kind of first came to my attention. I recommend a podcast by Michael Lewis. It's called Against the Rules. He talked about sports gambling. You can listen to it on your way home tonight or tomorrow afternoon. And as the gentleman from Whitley rightly pointed out, the people running the sports books, they know us better than we know ourselves. They know who shouldn't be betting, who can't afford to bet, who's in over their head. They know who's really good at it. And the pattern has been, the way these companies have worked, is they target losers and they ban the winners. And I think this is a good step at righting the ship. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson 37 for discussion of the matter.
Just have a question on the amendment.
You.
So you've listed here that the sports wagering licensees and service providers may limit the size of frequency or deposits or wagers of any person engaging in sports wagering due to that person's wagering activity if the wagering activity constitutes suspicious wagering activity or, and this is my question specifically, indicates that a person is a problem or compulsive gambler. So you can answer this however you need to, but what would be the indicator that a person is a problem gambler, or are we saying a problem, and what defines a problem gambler?
Gentleman from Whitley.
I don't know what indicates that. The books they do that. I know there's a lot of self-reporting. I just don't want my amendment to prevent the books from stepping in when there is an issue of problem gaming. If there's a compulsive gambler that they need to stop, I want them to stop that. My amendment has to do with the other issues I've been talking about.
Lady from Jefferson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 2. Roll call having been called for. Those in favor of Floor Amendment 2 vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Chair will note that as an amendment, it only requires a simple majority for passage. Have all members voted? Clerk will take the roll. Being 54 members voting aye, 13 members voting nay, House Floor Amendment 2 is passed. Gentleman from Edmondson.
Mr. Speaker, again, happy to answer any questions about the bill, but I would move for passage of House Bill 904 as amended by House Committee Substitute 1, House Floor Amendment 2, and House Floor Amendment 5.
Question before the body is passage of House Bill 904 as amended by House Committee Substitute 1, House Floor Amendment 2, and House Floor Amendment 5. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson 41 for discussion of the matter.
Mr. Speaker, of course, I have a question. Thank you. Gentlemen, I really like the part you have in there about child support being not being able to bet. How will that work? Can you walk me through? Will there be a register on the platform or what? And then will that person be like turned over to the county attorney or what?
Gentleman from Edmondson.
So the way that works, lady from Jefferson, is that the Attorney General's office, who is in control of child support now at the state level, creates a list of all the people that are on that arrearage list. What will happen, as per the committee substitute and the floor amendment, is that the Attorney General's office will then submit that list to the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation, and the corporation will then disseminate that to all the licensees that operate electronic or online gaming, mobile apps, things of that nature, and then those companies will have to institute blocks on any count that is matched with that list.
Lady from Jefferson.
Thank you, and thank you for that answer, but they will not, one follow-up.
He will yield to a question.
But they will then not be turned over then to have to pay their child support, turned over to the county attorney or?
Gentleman from Edmondson.
They would already be in that process with the county attorney's office because they wouldn't be on that arrearage list without going through that. But this just says, and there's two different models. This is a model of banning those people who are on that list from being able to place a wager with any of these online operators. The lottery has a little different process. The lottery gets a very similar list currently, and if someone through the lottery wins a lottery ticket over the tax exemption number, which is $600 at the federal level, then they intercept those winnings and would pay that through the Attorney General's office or the county attorney's office onto that child support arrearage. But again, a little different system using the same sort of list. This would just ban anybody from using the actual sports wagering, fantasy sports, or any of the other online apps if they're on that list, so they're not betting to start with.
Lady from Jefferson.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, gentlemen.
Question before the body is passage of House Bill 904 is amended by House Committee Substitute 1, House Floor Amendment 2, and House Floor Amendment 5. Clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. Being 79 members voting aye, 15 members voting nay, House Bill 904 is amended by House Committee Substitute 1, House Floor Amendment 2, and House Floor Amendment 5 is passed. Gentleman from Edmondson.
Move the clincher.
Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Bullitt, the chair of the Enrollment Committee, for an Enrollment Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Enrollment Committee has met and found the following bill to be in order and ready for your signature. Senate Bill 199.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair is about to sign Senate Bill 199. Thank you. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 826 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion's made and seconded that House Bill 826 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 826, an act relating to adult education. Representative Tipton.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Spencer 53 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Spencer for explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this may be one of the shortest bills I've ever filed on this floor. I don't think it'll take me very long to... Over the interim, I had some conversations from members, from others across the state, sharing with me that our adult education providers across the state, many of them had seen large reductions in their allocations from the State Office of Adult Education. Did a lot of review on this issue, talked to a lot of people, and actually one of the people I've known for several years happens to be the current president of the Kentucky Adult Education Teachers Association. And this was actually his suggestion. And this is very simple legislation. It states that no less than 85% of general fund monies appropriated by the General Assembly to the Office of Adult Education shall be used to fulfill programs of the Adult Education mission at our program level, and the Office of Adult Education can use the remainder of those funds for their administrative costs. One other provision he suggested is sometimes students have difficulty with computer tests. He suggested that we have an option for students to take a paper and pencil test, so that is in the bill. I actually had a conversation earlier this week with the folks that do the GED test. They say that Texas put this application in a few years ago, and while it is not largely used, it is available and possible to do that. Be happy to entertain any questions, but I move for adoption of House Bill 826.
Question before the body is passage of House Bill 826. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. Being 94 members voting aye, no members voting nay, House Bill 826 is passed. Gentleman from Spencer.
Mr. Speaker, I move the clincher.
Without objection, so ordered. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 767 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon the passage.
Motion is made and seconded that House Bill 767 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 767, an act relating to emergency management and declaring an emergency. Representative Fugit.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Perry for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Perry for explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This House Bill 767, requested by Kentucky Emergency Management, deals with the Kentucky qualification system. It implements and manages the national qualification system for emergency management in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It focuses on the training and certification of incident management teams and emergency operations centers. The goal is for Kentucky qualification system is to establish and maintain trained personnel for incident management teams and EOC assistant teams that can assist within the Commonwealth or outside the state in response to disasters, incidents, and planned events. If there are no questions, I move passage of House Bill 767.
Question before the body is passage of House Bill 767. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. In 93 members voting aye, no members voting nay, House Bill 767 is passed. Gentleman from Perry.
Move the clincher.
Without objection, clincher is applied. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Senate Bill 40 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion is made and seconded that Senate Bill 40 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage. Clerk, please report.
Senate Bill 40, an act relating to public library district boards of trustees. Senator Boswell.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Davis 13 for the explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Davis 13 for explanation of bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, lady, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 40 does three things. It places the authority, responsibility, and accountability for appointing public library board members with county judge executives and fiscal court members. It streamlines the process of selecting those library board members. And thirdly, it requires that a local library board member be a resident of the county where the library is located. Senate Bill 40 is supported by the Kentucky Judge Executives Association and the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives, and it passed out of the Senate 34-1. Mr. Speaker, KRS 173.490 provides procedures for selecting our public library board members. Current procedures involve a process for selecting board members that can be administratively cumbersome, and it can take months to fill a vacant board position. The process involves back and forth recommendations and communications between local library boards, the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives, and county fiscal courts. While this process may be the preferred route for many counties, Senate Bill 40 allows fiscal courts to choose an alternate method. Specifically, Senate Bill 40 stipulates that if a fiscal court chooses to, it may use a streamlined process that involves only the local library board making a personnel recommendation to the judge executive. The judge, with the approval of the fiscal court, either accepts or rejects the board's recommendation. If the fiscal court rejects the board's recommendation, the judge executive, again with the fiscal court's approval, appoints a board member of his or her choosing. Again, Mr. Speaker, this is an alternate selection process that must first be enacted by the fiscal court. It streamlines the appointment process, but more important, it places the process and the responsibility for selecting local library board members with local library boards and local elected officials. Mr. Speaker, subject to any questions, I move for passage of Senate Bill 40.
Question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 40. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. Been 84 members voting aye, 7 members voting nay. Senate Bill 40 is passed. Gentleman from Davis.
Move for the clincher.
Without objection, clincher is applied. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 851 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion's made and seconded that House Bill 851 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 851, an act relating to reporting requirements. Representative Freeland.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Marshall 6 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Marshall for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 851 is a simple bill that moves a reporting date from July 1st to August 1st to help our local counties. This need was brought to me by my local judge executive, and it's regarding a clerk storage fee, and this was brought to me again by my local county, and CAECO is supportive of this. And the problem is that many fiscal courts like mine, they have their bank statements that come in, but not always by July 1st, and they're not able to balance their books by then. So they either A, have to file this report and then amend it, or B, have to file it late. So what HB 851 would simply do is give them some flexibility and move that reporting date to August 1st instead of July 1st. So it's permissible language. They can still do it by July 1st if they so choose, but this would give them some flexibility. And if there are no questions, I move for passage.
Question before the body is passage of House Bill 851. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. There being 95 members voting aye, no members voting nay, House Bill 851 is passed. Gentleman from Marshall.
Move the clincher.
Without objection, clincher is applied. Lady from Ohio. Lady from Davis.
Did I move? Mr. Speaker, I move that Senate Bill 2 be taken from its place in the orders of the day and read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion's made and seconded that Senate Bill 2 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage. Clerk, please report.
Senate Bill 2, an act relating to salaries of school administrators. Senator Rocky Adams.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Ohio 14 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio for explanation of bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, I think, Mr. Speaker. But nice tie today, Mr. Speaker, by the way. Oh, me. Senate Bill 2 prohibits a district from providing any superintendent or administrator a pay increase greater than a classroom teacher. Mr. Speaker, would you have the clerk report Floor Amendment 1?
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 2.
Gentleman from Ohio.
Move adoption.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion of the floor amendment? Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson 32 for discussion of the floor amendment.
Yes, may I ask the gentleman a question?
He will yield.
Okay, so in the floor amendment, it does put back in language that we had in a committee sub saying that a superintendent may remove a principal of a CSI school that's been in CSI for 2 years. And as I bring that up, I'm told we can already do that. Can you explain why we need this legislation?
Gentleman from Ohio.
Sometimes in CSI or TSI schools, there needs to be immediate action because these schools are obviously failing schools. And what this would allow the superintendent to do is basically remove those principals that they didn't feel like they had the capacity to lead those schools.
Lady from Jefferson.
May I speak on the amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
So in my PhD program, we took 3 courses in driving change in organizations. And an author we read is Jim Collins. He writes a book called Good to Great. If you haven't read it and you're in business, you need to read it. Well, one of the things he describes in creating great organizations is kind of like you're having a bus, and the bus is going in the direction of your vision. You need to be able to pick the people on your bus and put them in the right seats. So this amendment will allow a superintendent to drive change in these organizations in a way that's based in current trade press about how you really do it in any other organization. So I encourage you to vote for this amendment. Thank you.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion of the floor amendment? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The rest of the floor amendment, we covered that. I was going to save that one to the last part, but basically it does 3 or 4 other things. It addresses a constitutional contract clause by applying to superintendent contracts issued or renewed after July 1st, 2026. So that's when the date would start. Requires districts to provide a copy of the superintendent's contract to the Kentucky Department of Ed to be posted on their website, and also requires it to be posted on the district website. It does clarify that superintendents can negotiate a new contract at the end of an expiring contract, which is usually most of the time 4 years. And it also allows job categories to be adjusted inside the salary schedule by the board without having this clause kick in. And then I believe we covered the last amendment there. If there are no questions, I move passage of Senate Bill 2 with Floor Amendment 1.
Question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 2 as amended by House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Boone 66 for explanation of vote not to exceed 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, regularly in every session that I can remember for the budget cycles, we have given historic funding to our public schools, including line item designations for salary increases. Educator salaries have remained stagnant, while salaries elsewhere have gone up. This bill gives us a pathway to ensure that that guarantee that this body has consistently voted on is fulfilled, that we are getting teachers the pay raises that they need and they deserve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the lady from Fayette 93.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish I had been able to vote for this bill. The original bill, when it came from the Senate, it did exactly what the Senate sponsor intended it to do, and sadly I had to be a no today. Thank you.
Clerk will take the roll. In 90 members voting aye, 4 members voting nay, Senate Bill 2, as amended by House Floor Amendment 1, is passed. Gentleman from Ohio.
Mr. Speaker, would you have the clerk report Floor Amendment 2, the title amendment?
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 2, the title amendment to Senate Bill 2.
Gentleman from Ohio.
Move adoption.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 2, the title amendment. Those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 2 is adopted. Gentleman from Ohio.
Move for clincher.
Without objection, clincher is applied.
Lady from Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 601 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the 3rd time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion made that House Bill 601 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the 3rd time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon the floor for its passage. Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 601, an act relating to highway access. Representative Decker.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the lady from Shelby 58 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the lady from Shelby for explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 601 would eliminate an unauthorized and very burdensome regulatory requirement that forces Kentucky landowners to pay the Transportation Cabinet 100% of any increase in the property value of their property that they find attributable to gaining access to a limited access highway, commonly known as a bypass. Based on my research that has been confirmed by the National Conference of State Legislatures, no other state legislature has authorized this type of charge, and in Kentucky this requirement is only found in a administrative regulation that has no authorization in statute. This authorization has not been made, and it is particularly unfair when the access requested could benefit the entire community by opening land for jobs, new jobs, services, housing, and not to mention increased property tax that would flow from local governments to local governments and schools. It's important to note that this bill would not stop the other fees currently charged to landowners before an access fee is granted. The bill does not stop the requirement that landowners must pay all administrative costs for obtaining an access permit, surveying fees, full road construction cost, and ongoing road maintenance. The bill also would not stop safety reviews, the enforcement of engineering standards, or any other reasonable and authorized permit condition. Those all stay in place. Instead, House Bill 601 is focused only on protecting Kentucky property owners by stopping the unauthorized regulatory practice of charging them for what is often called an enhancement fee that has not been authorized by the General Assembly. Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I move passage of House Bill 601.
Motion made for the passage of House Bill 601. Is there any discussion? Chair recognizes the gentleman from Spencer, 53.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the lady from Shelby for bringing this legislation. I actually had a situation in my district. A church was asking for an entrance on a limited use highway. They encountered this undue burden. They had to pay for an appraisal before, an appraisal after, and they would have been responsible for the additional value, paying the highway department the additional value of that appraisal, and that is so unfair, and I really appreciate you bringing this, and I would encourage all the members to support House Bill 601.
Question for the body is on passage of House Bill 601. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, sound the chimes. We'll now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by voting yea on the roll call machine. Those opposed, nay. And the roll call machine is open for your voting. Have all members voted? Would any member like to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. There being 91 members voting yea, 3 members voting nay, House Bill 601 is passed. Lady from Shelby.
Mr. Speaker, I move the clencher.
Without objection, the clencher is applied. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 676 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion made to House Bill 676 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, placed upon the floor for its passage. Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 676, an act relating to the Kentucky statewide health data utility. Representative Raymer.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the lady from Butler, 15, for the explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the lady from Butler for an explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 676 creates a statewide health data utility. Healthcare costs are rising, and we as policymakers are tasked with making decisions and crafting policies to keep costs down while ensuring quality healthcare is being delivered to our citizens. We want lower cost and better outcomes. That's easy to say, but it's harder to deliver. That is why we need a statewide health data utility, so that we can make more informed, precise policy decisions based on sound data that we, as the General Assembly, have access to. We need a system that supports policymakers in our task of doing what is best for our Commonwealth. In working on this legislation, it became clear this project needed more time to ensure that we get it right, which brings me to House Floor Amendment Number 3. The amendment is a complete substitute. It removes the original language of the bill and instead directs the Legislative Research Commission to conduct an interim study on the development of the statewide health data utility, what it should look like, where it should be housed, and how it should function for the Commonwealth. I move adoption of House Floor Amendment Number 3. I ask the clerk to report House Floor Amendment Number 3.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 3 to House Bill 676.
Lady from Butler.
Move adoption.
Motion made for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 3. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. House Floor Amendment 3 is adopted. Lady from Butler.
I'm also aware members have received correspondence from the Cabinet opposing a utility housed outside of the Cabinet. Let me say this, however we move forward in the future, we must ensure we have access to the information that we need to make the sound health care policy the Commonwealth is depending on us to make. Data is not partisan, it is facts, and it should not be politicized or held hostage. I move for passage of House Bill 676 as amended by Floor Amendment Number 3.
Motion made for the passage of House Bill 676 as amended by House Floor Amendment 3. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, sound the chimes. Now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by voting yea on the roll call machine. Those opposed, nay. And the roll call machine is open for your voting. Have all members voted? Would any member like to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. There being 93 members voting yea, no members voting nay, House Bill 676 is amended by House Floor Amendment 3 is passed. Lady from Butler.
Move the clincher.
Without objection, the clincher is applied. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Senate Bill 11 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon its passage.
Motion made that Senate Bill 11 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title and sponsor only, and placed upon the floor for its passage. Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Bill 11, an act relating to a residential safe room rebate program. Senator Meredith.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield again to the lady from Butler 15 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the lady from Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 11 is a proactive measure designed to strengthen residential storm preparedness and expand access to life-saving storm shelter options across the Commonwealth. After the bill was filed, questions arose about the program's funding source. To address that, a Senate committee sub was adopted. The sub clarifies that no state appropriations will be used for the program. Instead, it is funded by an existing FEMA program. This legislation was developed in response to concerns raised by local officials, particularly my mayor from Morgantown, Mr. Billy Phelps, about access to storm shelters in rural areas. Senate Bill 11 establishes the Residential Safe Room Rebate Fund, creates a pilot program to help homeowners offset the cost of constructing or installing residential storm shelters that meet nationally recognized safety standards. Under the bill, homeowners may receive a rebate equal to 50% of construction or installation cost up to $5,000. To qualify, the shelter must comply with FEMA and International Code Council standards, and the homeowner must agree to make it available to members of the public during a declared emergency. The Division of Emergency Management will administer the program by developing the application process, verifying compliance with construction and permitting requirements, and maintaining a public list of participating shelters, prioritizing applications based on available funding. Senate Bill 11 is not simply a rebate program. It is a targeted investment in community resilience. By incentivizing the construction of shelters and encouraging shared access during emergency, this measure enhances local preparedness and helps protect Kentuckians when severe weather strikes. Mr. Speaker, I move for passage of Senate Bill 11.
Motion made for the passage of Senate Bill 11. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, sound the chimes. Now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by voting yea on the roll call machine. Those opposed, nay. And the roll call machine is open for your voting. Have all members voted? Would any member like to change or explain their vote? Clerk will take the roll. There being 84 members voting yea, 8 members voting nay, Senate Bill 11 is passed. Lady from Butler.
Move the clincher.
Without objection, clincher is applied. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, that concludes the orders of the day.
Next order of business is motions, petitions, communications, and announcements. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Senate Bill 9 be taken from the Committee on Local Government, given a second reading, and returned to the Committee on Local Government.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Bill 9, Senator Mills, an act relating to housing districts.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Warren 20.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Warren 20.
Mr. Speaker, would you have the clerk report citation number 85 by title and sponsor only?
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Melissa, I don't have 85. I don't have an 85. Oh, here, I bet that's it. Yeah, he said his seat number.
It's actually, what number is it?
76.
Gentlemen, that is actually citation 76, if you'll move that one.
Mr. Speaker, would you have the clerk report citation number 76?
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Citation 76, Representative Jackson. Citation of adjournment. The House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky does hereby adjourn this legislative day in loving memory and honor of George Michael Murphy.
Is that the correct one?
Yes.
May proceed.
My colleagues in this chamber, if we are lucky in our lifetime, we may meet 4 or 5 true legends in our community. G. Michael Murphy, or Murph, as he was known to his friends, was definitely a pillar of the Bowling Green community. Mike was a highly regarded citizen, known for his entrepreneurship, philanthropy, and for being a community leader. We lost this legend on December the 11th, 2025, due to cancer. Mike's passing leaves a void that may never be filled in Bowling Green and South Central Kentucky. Mike was a proud WKU graduate with his degree in civil engineering. He went on to become a 4th-generation builder and contractor. Over 4 decades in business, Mike would become co-owner and CEO of Scott and Murphy, Inc., Scott Murphy and Daniel, LLC, and Hart's Contracting, LLC. Murph started with a handful of employees and built that team to 250 members. Mike's philanthropy was well known, from helping the St. Joseph School expansion, the Student Mall Plaza at WKU, and helping construct our world-class soapbox derby track and many other projects. In 2010, Mike received the Bowling Green Community Impact Award for Outstanding Philanthropist of the Year. Murph's community service was legendary. He participated and gave his time and support to many areas like nonprofit organizations, schools, churches, hospitals, and much more. In 2020, Mike received the Bowling Green Area Chamber of Commerce Herb Smith Lifetime Achievement Award. They've only given 7 of those for his service to the Bowling Green community. Mike's family was also his most prized possession. His wife Mickey and their 3 children, Nancy, Sarah, and Cole, and their spouses, as well as those 7 beautiful grandchildren who love Mimi and E-Daddy very much. In closing, Mr. Speaker, a quick personal note from me. When I filed to run for state representative, the article came out in the Daily News newspaper. That night, the first person to call me was Mike Murphy. Mike was so excited, he was almost giddy. He said, "You are exactly who we need to represent us in Frankfort." I went on to make him one of my 5 campaign captains. That group, we had several lunches. Once a month, we would meet for lunch, talk about the campaign, politics, business, and just life in general. Mike Murphy will always have a special place in my heart and the heart of the entire Bowling Green community. Mr. Speaker, I move for adoption.
Without objection, citation is adopted. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I now yield to the lady from Grayson 18.
Chair recognizes the lady from Grayson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the clerk please call report legislative citation 74?
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Citation 74, Representative Heverin. Citation of adjournment. The House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky does hereby adjourn this legislative day in loving memory and honor of William Harold Turkey Thomason.
Go ahead, lady.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we honor Turkey Thomason, who is a former mayor of Litchfield. He was a lot of great things. He was an honorable veteran of the United States Marine Corps, a respected insurance agency manager for Kentucky Farm Bureau for over 60 years, a member of the Litchfield City Council for 36 years, the former mayor of Litchfield for 24 years before he retired in 2018. He was a founding member of the Litchfield Lions Club and the American Legion Post 81. He was the first person appointed to the Board of Citizens Bank, which is now Wilson & Muir, and a lifelong member of the Litchfield United Methodist Church. He was the oldest living member of the Grayson County Fair Board at the time of his passing last week. He served on the Grayson County Chamber Board of Directors for 19 years. He received the first Hall of Fame award from the Chamber in 2018. But most of all, Turkey Thomason was known for the guy that had the pumpkins on West Walnut Street. He always decorated his home beautifully with pumpkins. He also did a lot of inflatables, which everyone enjoyed driving by for Christmas. Turkey was a friend to many in our community, and he was really a giant that will have a huge missing spot in Litchfield. He loved Litchfield, but most importantly, he loved his family. I would now yield to the lady from Davis for words.
Chair recognizes the lady from Davis.
Thank you, lady from Grayson. Yes, it's kind of one of those deals where you keep wanting to call someone a different name than what their nickname is, and so every time I would go into that county, I would always want to call him Mayor, Mayor Bill, Mayor whatever, but he was very insistent and he was very proud of being called Turkey. Quite a joy, but she said he was a giant in the community, but he was a gentle giant. He was a very selfless, generous human being. He and his wife, Carolyn, I never saw those people that they weren't constantly serving the community day and night, anytime, at all times. And they were definitely a friend to any and all. So we're sad to see him lay to rest, but good and faithful servant he was. Yield back to the lady from Grayson.
Lady from Grayson.
Thank you. I would just add before I move for adoption, of all the social media posts that were shared with me, I did give up social media for Lent, so people shared them. It just talked about how he was willing to give the shirt off his back to anybody. He loved everybody that he came across, and he really cared for them, whether they were blood, family, or not. And so I hope that we can all be a little bit more like Turkey. I'm grateful for the legacy he left for our community in Litchfield and Grayson County. I would now move for adoption.
Without objection, so ordered. Citation is adopted. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Menifee.
Make an announcement, please.
May proceed.
To the members of the State Government Committee, just wanted to again remind those members we will be having a special called meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment today in room 149. Thank you.
Lady from Davis.
The Clerk of the Senate, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the Clerk of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate has passed Senate Bill 195 and respectfully requests concurrence of this honorable body. The Senate has passed House Bills 96, 280, 459, 470, 555, 562, and 648, all with letter, and respectfully request concurrence of this honorable body. And, Mr. Speaker, I have a letter on House Bill 500 and House Bill 503 and House Bill 504.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, that's all I have at this time.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Hopkins 4.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to make a welcome and conduct a citation.
May proceed.
First of all, I'd like to welcome a group of students from Hanson Elementary School in Hopkins County who are learning about state government, the branches of government today. And the class, Miss Rainwater, Miss Harris, and Miss Palmer, I hope you learned something by watching our proceedings today and this week, and you can thank Miss Williams for making you do that. So move on to the, I'd like for the clerk, please, to call legislative citation number 77, read it by title only.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Citation 77, Representative Williams, citation of adjournment. The House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky does hereby adjourn this legislative day in loving memory and honor of Dr. Jack Hammond.
Gentleman from Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like today to recognize the life of Dr. J.L. Jack Hammond, who passed away last week at the age of 92. Dr. Hammond was a pioneering surgeon at Trover Clinic and later Baptist Health, helping establish open-heart surgery in Madisonville in 1980. Through his efforts and deep commitment, Hopkins County was one of the first communities in Kentucky outside of Louisville and Lexington to offer this life-saving cardiovascular care. Dr. Hammond served patients for decades, continuing to see them well in his later years, finally retiring in 2021. Just as importantly, he helped train generations of physicians through residency programs and partnerships with the University of Louisville, leaving a lasting mark on healthcare in Western Kentucky. And I had the opportunity to personally get to know Dr. Hammond, and like so many others, I was struck by his humility, his gratitude for his colleagues, and his deep commitment to his patients and his community. His life reminds us that a true measure of a physician is not only the skill in the operating room, but a lifetime spent caring for others. Kentucky is better because of Dr. Jack Hammond, and we extend our deepest condolences to his family and all who are touched by his remarkable life. Mr. Speaker, I move for adoption of citation.
Without objection, citation is adopted. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson 40.
Thank you, Speaker. Communicate with the body.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Colleagues, I rise today in honor of Women's History Month, and I'd like to recognize today Arabella Mansfield, who was the first female lawyer in the United States. Arabella was born on May 23, 1846, on a family farm in Burlington, Iowa. She then taught political science, English, and history at Simpson College in Indianola, Iowa for 1 year, becoming one of the first female college professors. Mansfield then studied law for 2 years in her brother's law office in Mount Pleasant to prepare for the bar exam, which was the practice at the time. Iowa law also limited admittance to the bar to white males over the age of 21 at the time, but Mansfield was allowed to take the exam in 1869 and passed with high scores. She challenged the state law excluding her from practicing law and won. Iowa became the first state in the Union to admit women to the practice of law. She was sworn in at the Union Block Building in Mount Pleasant, and after challenging the law, she decided to concentrate on teaching and work as an activist. She worked with Susan B. Anthony and the suffragette movement, chairing the Iowa Women's Suffrage Convention in 1870. Thank you.
Thank you, lady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Greenup 98.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to act on a resolution.
May proceed.
Ask the clerk to report House Resolution 123 and read it by title only.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Resolution 123, a resolution recognizing March 19th, 2026 as Random Acts of Cody Kindness Day in Kentucky in honor of Cody Reeves Gillahoy. Representative Thompson.
Gentleman from Greenup.
Thank you. On March 19, 1996, Cody Reeves Gollahue was born in Moorhead, a son of Elliot and Leanne Gollahue. Cody possessed a unique quality to draw people in with his magnetic smile, and from an early age, he was a friend to everyone. Cody believed that it would take only one act of kindness to create a chain reaction and turn the world into a kinder place to live. Cody brought joy unspeakably to the lives of those around him. Unfortunately, Cody arrived at his heavenly home on May 26, 2017, after a car accident. Following his death, Cody's family and friends clung to one another and to our community. It was this community who created what is now considered a global kindness movement, Random Acts of Cody Kindness, that can be located on Facebook and other social media platforms. The thought was this group would allow relatives and close friends to perform an act of kindness on or around his birthday, heavenly date, and other dates of the year in a way to honor and remember Cody's kindness. What happened cannot be explained, but it is a perfect example of God making beauty from ashes. Thousands of random acts of Cody's kindness has been performed in all 50 states and in 127 countries. Mr. Speaker, in memory of what would have been Cody's 30th birthday today, I move adoption of House Resolution 123.
Without objection, the resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Perry 84.
Make an announcement.
May proceed.
Tomorrow morning, KSPPA breakfast, 0700. All legislators are invited. Thank you.
Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I have to apologize to the gentleman from Perry. I should have gone to him first today. So apologies. We don't want him to miss that breakfast. Mr. Speaker, I move that Senate Bill 1 be taken from the Committee on Committees, given a first reading, and returned to the Committee on Committees.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Bill 1, Senator Givens, an act relating to education.
Lady from Davis.
Move it. That's all I have. Move adoption.
No, come here for a second.
Just come up there.
Yes,
okay.
Please. Lady from Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that House Bill 283 be taken from the Judiciary Committee, given its first reading, and returned to the Judiciary Committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Bill 283, Representative Sharp, an act relating to foreign transactions in the Commonwealth.
Lady from Davis. Is that all you have?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Time has expired. Motions, petitions, communications, and announcements. The next order of business is the introduction of new resolutions. Mr. Clerk, please report. There being no need. Next order of business is a meeting of the Committee on Committees and Rules Committee. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House be in recess for a meeting of the Committee on Committees and the Rules Committee at the clerk's desk.
Without objection, the House shall stand at recess for a meeting of the Committee on Committees and Rules Committee at the clerk's desk.
We know we have to keep an eye. We know we have to keep an eye on you.
House come to order. Next order of business is a report of Committee on Committees and the Rules Committee. Mr. Clerk, please report.
The Committee on Committees has met and referred the following bills and resolutions to local government. Senate Bills 149, 192, and 312. Senate Joint Resolutions 62 and 75. The Committee on Committees has met and reassigned the following. House Bill 288 as being reassigned to state government from the judiciary. The Rules Committee has met and posted the following bills and resolutions to the regular orders for Thursday, March 19, 2026. House Bill 885 and 889, Senate Bills 4, 5, 46, 59, 69, 73, 101, 155, 170, and 245.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The next order of business is, actually, those bills referred by the Committee on Committees shall be considered eligible for consideration and action by the committee at the discretion of the committee chair. The next order of business is the introduction of floor amendments. Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 4, Representative Fleming. House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 8, Representative Williams. House Floor Amendment 2 to Senate Bill 46, Representative Callaway, Emily Callaway. House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 104, Representative Wesley. House Floor Amendment 2, the title amendment to Senate Bill 104, Representative Wesley. House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 116, Representative Duval. House Floor Amendment 1 to House Bill 583, Representative Riley. House Floor Amendment 1 to House Bill 732, Representative Grossell. House Floor Amendment 2 to House Bill 732, Representative Grossell. House Floor Amendment 3 to House Bill 732, Representative Burke. House Floor Amendment 4 to Senate Bill 732, Representative Burke. And House Floor Amendment 5 to House Bill 904, Representative Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The next order of business is adjournment. Lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House stand adjourned until 9 a.m. Friday, March 20th, the year of our Lord 2026.
Without objection, the House shall stand adjourned until 9 a.m. Friday, March 20th, the year of our Lord 2026.